Welcome to our deep dive and wow, nanotechnology. It's pretty mind-blowing stuff. Manipulating matter at the atomic level.
It really is.
I mean, we're talking 100 nanometers or smaller, right?
Yeah, like the size of a few atoms.
Practically invisible. And you sent over some incredible research on this. I'm excited to dig in.
Yeah, it's a field that's changing everything, really. Medicine, manufacturing, energy, you name it.
For sure, like that article about targeted drug delivery systems using nanorobots.
Oh, right.
Delivering meds straight to disease cells. I mean, potentially revolutionizing cancer treatment.
Absolutely. A huge step beyond chemo, which can be so hard on the whole body.
Definitely. What's wild is that manipulating matter at this level, it's not a new idea, right?
Not at all. Goes back to physicist Richard Feynman. Back in the 60s, he had this vision.
Yeah, like science fiction almost, but then boom, 1981, the scanning tunneling microscope.
Exactly. We could finally see atoms.
A total game changer. And it paved the way for the nanotech boom we're seeing now.
It did. And it's not just medicine that's benefiting. Remember that article on flexible screens?
Oh yeah, the foldable phones, the wearables, all those nanomaterials like graphene.
Graphene's incredible. A single layer of carbon atoms, super strong, super flexible.
And a great conductor of electricity, perfect for these new gadgets.
Yeah.
So we're talking smaller,
More powerful.
and more flexible, all thanks to nanotech.
But I know you're passionate about the bigger picture, too.
Oh, definitely. Like using nanotech for global challenges, energy, the environment.
Totally. I was impressed by that research you sent on improving solar cells with nanotech.
Yeah, manipulating materials at that scale can make solar cells way more efficient.
I read they could potentially double the efficiency of traditional solar panels.
It's amazing, isn't it?
And what about batteries? I know you were looking into that, too.
Yeah, longer-lasting batteries are key for electric cars, renewable energy storage, everything.
Right.
And nanotech is helping develop materials with much higher energy density.
So electric cars go further, phones last for days, we can store more solar and wind power. It's exact.
All thanks to nanotech. It could be huge for a greener future.
It really could. But like with any powerful technology, there are always downsides to consider.
True. You were concerned about the environmental impact of nanoparticles.
Yeah.
And I was reading about potential health risks, too.
Yeah, all valid concerns. It just highlights how important responsible development is, you know?
Absolutely. Careful assessment of risks,
Yeah.
clear safety guidelines. It's a lot of responsibility.
It is. And it's not just the science and environment. There's the economic and societal side, too.
Right. The global nanotech market is booming, creating new jobs, whole industries.
Exactly. And the demand for expertise in this field is going through the roof.
So STEM education is more crucial than ever. It's crazy how nanotech is touching everything.
It is. The products we use, the jobs we do, how we tackle global issues, it's shaping the future.
And we're only just scratching the surface, really. It's exciting to think about what's next.
Oh, for sure. As we keep exploring these possibilities, who knows what breakthroughs are coming?
Can't wait to find out. But before we get too futuristic, let's focus on some specific applications.
Right.
Like you mentioned material science and manufacturing. You found some amazing stuff there.
Oh, yeah. We're on the verge of creating materials with properties we could only dream of.
Seriously, like what?
Super strong, lightweight materials for construction, self-healing materials, and even materials that can change their properties on demand.
Wow. Okay, that's mind-blowing. The self-healing materials especially. Tell me more.
So picture a material that can repair itself like skin. Researchers are actually working on that.
Really?
They're incorporating these tiny capsules filled with a healing agent into the material.
Oh, interesting.
So when there's damage, the capsules release the agent and boom, it's repaired.
That's incredible. I could see how that would be revolutionary for everything. Planes, bridges, even clothes.
Right.
So nanotech isn't just about smaller. It's about totally new materials, defying what we thought was possible.
Exactly. It's a whole new era of material science, blurring the line between natural and synthetic.
Wow. It's like we're stepping into a sci-fi novel, but it's all happening right now.
It really is.
It makes you wonder, what other seemingly impossible feats will nanotech unlock in the years to come?
Who knows, but it's definitely an exciting time to be watching this field unfold.
Yeah, it feels like a whole new world of materials, right?
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of revolutionizing things, nanotechnology is already huge in aerospace and defense.
That's right. You sent that report on how nanomaterials are making aircraft lighter and stronger. Carbon nanotubes, for example, in wings and fuselages. Better fuel efficiency, more durability.
Yeah, carbon nanotubes are amazing. Super strong, super light, perfect for aerospace.
It's crazy how something so tiny can make a difference for something as big as a plane.
I know, right?
And what about those nanosensors? We talked about them earlier. Are they being used in planes too?
Oh, absolutely. They're being embedded right into the aircraft structure
Wow.
to monitor stress, strain, even tiny cracks, all in real time.
So they can catch potential problems early on. Exactly. Improves safety, reduces maintenance costs. It's a win-win.
Sounds like nanotech is making flying safer and more efficient.
Mm.
But you were also interested in the defense applications, right?
Mm.
Like stealth technology.
Yeah, that report you shared mentioned those nanoscale coatings that absorb radar signals,
Right.
making aircraft almost invisible to radar. It's like something out of a spy movie.
It really is. Nanotech is blurring the lines between sci-fi and reality. But let's shift gears for a second. I'm curious about how nanotech is being used to tackle global challenges, especially in developing countries.
Okay, yeah.
Providing clean water, for example.
That's a huge area where nanotech can make a real difference.
Like those nanofiltration systems I was reading about.
Yeah, exactly.
Removing contaminants and pathogens from water sources.
They're portable, relatively cheap, perfect for remote areas or disaster relief.
It's amazing. So they could really improve public health where clean water is scarce.
Absolutely. The potential is huge. But as we've talked about, with great power comes great responsibility, right?
Right. As nanotech keeps advancing, we have to think about the bigger picture, the ethical implications.
Absolutely. We can't just focus on the cool science. We have to consider the potential downsides, too.
I know you've been reading a lot about that. What are some of the key ethical concerns that have been raised?
Well, one big one is unintended consequences. Nanoparticles are so small they can get into cells, even cross the blood-brain barrier.
Oh, wow.
So we have to make sure they're not going to have some unforeseen negative effect.
On human health or the environment, it's like we're entering uncharted territory.
We are, so caution is definitely key.
What about the economic implications? You were looking into those too, weren't you?
Yeah, it's a mixed bag. On the one hand, nanotech is creating new industries and jobs.
Right, it's driving economic growth.
But it could also lead to job displacement as things become more automated.
It's the classic dilemma of any new technology. It brings both opportunities and challenges.
Exactly. We have to manage that transition carefully, make sure the benefits are shared widely.
And that we address any negative impacts on workers and communities. It's about using technology to create a better world for everyone, not just a select few.
Absolutely. But let's not forget about the cultural impact of nanotech either. We talked about it briefly before, but it's worth exploring a bit more.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by how nanotech has captured our imaginations. It's showing up everywhere in pop culture, from sci-fi to fashion.
Yeah, it's become this symbol of the future, all these futuristic possibilities.
It's almost like we're projecting our hopes and fears onto this tiny, powerful realm.
That's a good way to put it. It's interesting how science fiction often predicts or even inspires scientific breakthroughs.
I know, right?
It's like a testing ground for our ideas about the future. We can explore the potential benefits and the potential risks.
And with nanotech, those potential risks are especially important to think about.
Yeah, we've seen how powerful it can be. So it's crucial that we talk openly and honestly about the ethical implications.
We have to make sure it's being developed and used in a way that benefits humanity and protects our planet.
Exactly. Science and technology aren't neutral forces. They're shaped by human values.
That's a good point.
So it's up to us to guide their development in the right direction toward a better future.
Well said. So, as we delve deeper into the world of nanotech, we have to remember that the future isn't set in stone.
It's not.
It's a story waiting to be written, and we all have a hand in writing it.
Absolutely. Whether we're scientists or policymakers or just regular people, we all have a responsibility to engage in the conversation about nanotech.
And to make sure it leads us toward a brighter, more sustainable, more equitable world.
Couldn't agree more. The journey into the infinitesimal is just beginning, and it's a journey we're all on together. Let's make it count.
It's wild, isn't it? I mean, the scale of it all, from tiny atoms to these huge global challenges. It's hard to wrap your head around how nanotech is changing everything.
It really is. I mean, we went from barely seeing atoms to actually manipulating them.
Right, to create totally new materials, new devices. It's like cracking a code.
That's a good way to put it.
And it's leading to amazing things, like that article you shared about nanotech and renewable energy.
Oh yeah, the research on solar cells, energy storage.
Using nanomaterials to make them more efficient. Imagine harnessing the sun's energy like that.
And storing it for whenever we need it. It's a game changer.
It really is. And then there's healthcare. I mean, delivering drugs straight to cancer cells with nanoparticles.
That study was incredible.
It was. And that's just one example. We talked about nanosensors for early disease detection, too.
Exactly. It's like we're moving towards this future of super precise medicine.
Right. Fewer side effects, better outcomes. It's amazing what we can do.
It is. Well, we said it before, right? Great power, great responsibility.
Definitely. We can't get carried away with the wow factor and forget about the risks.
Exactly. We need to be smart about how we use this technology.
So thinking about those risks, what are we most concerned about?
Well, like we talked about, environmental impact, health risks. We have to be sure we're not creating new problems.
Right. It's not worth solving one problem by creating another.
And then there's the potential for misuse.
Right. In the wrong hands, this technology could be dangerous.
It's crucial that we have ethical guidelines, regulations, the whole package.
So it's not just about scientific progress. It's about using that progress for good.
Exactly. Nanotechnology needs to benefit all of humanity, not just a select few.
That's a good point. We have to make sure it doesn't worsen inequality or create new problems.
Absolutely. It's about creating a better future for everyone, a more sustainable future.
Well said. So as we wrap up this deep dive into nanotechnology, I think it's safe to say it's both exciting and a little daunting.
I think that's a fair assessment.
It's a field with immense potential, but it requires careful consideration, ethical development.
It does. We have to make sure nanotechnology remains a force for good in the world.
Absolutely. And I think this deep dive has been a great step towards understanding this powerful technology and its implications.
I agree. It's been a fascinating conversation.
It has. Thanks everyone for listening. And remember, this is just the beginning of the nanotechnology journey.
We're all on this journey together.
So let's keep exploring, keep asking questions, and let's shape the future of nanotechnology responsibly for the benefit of all.